So we're 9 days away from the NFL draft as I do this, and I'm one of those people that does not like to do a ton of mock drafts, so this is basically the only one I'm going to do on this channel. And also, let me know in the comments, what do you want to see from this channel on draft night? I might react to every pick, I might go over only my favorite picks, I might grade every pick. Let me know what type of format you guys want to see for day 1 and even day 2 and day 3 of the NFL draft. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and let's get into it. So in this mock draft, I'm going for accuracy, and if I did not take Trevor Lawrence first overall, I'd probably start out 0 for 1. So Trevor Lawrence is the first pick, going to the Jaguars, quarterback out of Clemson. He's basically the free space here, and I just don't see Urban Meyer taking that job unless Trevor Lawrence was going to be his quarterback. He has 3 great years of production in the ACC, has been compared to Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, John Elway, so it seems like the obvious pick. Trevor Lawrence going number 1 overall. Number 2, unless the Jets have been flat out lying to us this entire time, I'm going to have them taking Zach Wilson, quarterback from BYU. They haven't shown their hand exactly, but it's pretty obvious who they want, and I think it's going to be Zach Wilson. Great in 2020, of course, had a pretty decent 2018 season, was injured in 2019, but I think he's a perfect fit for this Mike LaFleur system if it's close to the Kyle Shanahan system. Of course, they traded Sam Darnold. I think quarterback's the pick. He has a great arm, off-platform thrower, very accurate. I like Zach Wilson, 2nd overall for the Jets. Number 3, and this is where it gets tricky, I have the 49ers taking Justin Fields, quarterback from Ohio State. I mean, we pretty much know the pick's going to be a quarterback. We don't know which one. I don't buy the whole Mac Jones thing. I just don't see a team trading up to 3rd overall for Mac Jones. Realistically, they could have traded in front of the Denver Broncos and taken him, so why would trade up all the way to 3 if you're going to take Mac Jones? So I don't buy that. I think it could be Trey Lance. It's definitely a wild card here. I could see that happening, but Justin Fields makes the most sense. I think Justin Fields is more pro-ready than a guy like Trey Lance. He's very accurate as compared to Trey Lance, and I just feel like he'll run this offense very well. So I know they have Jimmy Garoppolo still on the roster, but it seems like the Niners want to make an improvement at quarterback. They would not have made the trade if that was not the case. So I do think Justin Fields could be the pick here, number 3 overall for the Niners. Number 4 for the Falcons, if they do not trade back, which I don't have them doing in this mock draft, I have them taking Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida, and this is where most people's mock drafts will probably fall apart. Mine can definitely be included, but I don't see the pick being a defensive player, and I think it's either a trade back, Kyle Pitts, or Penei Sewell. I don't think Jamar Chase is an option because you already have Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, and the Falcons already have a pretty good left tackle in Jake Matthews. They have a young right tackle in Caleb McGarry, and they do have Hayden Hurst at tight end right now, but it's pretty much their only option. I think, Kyle Pitts is probably going to be better than Hayden Hurst, so it shouldn't stop them from drafting him. But Pitts is very dynamic, and he's at a position where there's only 3 or 4 very, very elite guys like Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Darren Waller, maybe put Mark Andrews in there. But if you can get your hands on a Kyle Pitts, he can definitely change that offense and bring it to another level. So I could see that being the pick for number 4, but I truly have no idea. For number 5, with the Cincinnati Bengals, this has been a big debate of Penei Sewell versus Jamar Chase. I have them taking Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle from Oregon, so you really can't go wrong either way. I could see both picks being fine, but Cincinnati did sign Riley Reif, and they do have Jonah Williams, but I feel like protecting Joe Burrow is the most important thing here. I mean, I saw his scar on his left knee in the recent photo shoot he did with the Bengals, and it just scares me, and I just don't think you should put a young quarterback in danger like that. So if you get Penei Sewell, I know you might have to move a guy to guard, whether it's Jonah Williams or Riley Reif. I know Jonah Williams did not have the longest arms. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's Riley Reif. I have no idea, but they'll figure it out. So I know Joe Burrow could use some more weapons. They have Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. I know they cut Gio Bernard, but they have Joe Mixon. But at the same time, they can get themselves a good wide receiver in rounds 2 or 3. I feel like there's not many Penei Sewells in this class, so you might as well go ahead and take him at number 5. Sewell dominated at 19 years old. He's 6'6", 330, has room to get better. I think it's going to be a good pick, so I'm fine with the Bengals going Penei Sewell 5th overall. At number 6 overall, I have the Dolphins taking Jamar Chase, wide receiver from LSU. So I don't know who the Dolphins wanted at number 3 originally, but if they wanted Chase all along and traded back up to 6 and get him at number 6, that would be an awesome move by them in my opinion. They would look like absolute geniuses, but there's probably no way of knowing that. But anyway, they will have Will Fuller now, who they just signed from the Texans, Devontae Parker, who's came on the past couple years, Mike Gesicki, a tight end, even Preston Williams, a talented wide receiver. For Tua Tagovailoa, who they need to figure out if he's good or not in year number 2. They could address offensive line later. They have a lot of picks in this draft. It's a very deep offensive line class, so we'll see if they do that. But Jamar Chase is very talented. He's my favorite receiver in this class. He did very well against AJ Terrell, Trayvon Diggs at 19 19 years old. These are NFL talent type corners. So yeah, I think Ja'Marr Chase is going to be very good in the NFL. I like this pick. I like the value. It would be a smart pick for the Miami Dolphins. At number 7 overall, I have the one and only trade in this mock draft. So I don't like doing a ton of trades, but I do feel like one team at least is going to trade up for a quarterback, whether it's the Patriots, the Bears, or even Washington. I have Washington trading up here for quarterback Trey Lance. Detroit will receive pick number 19, number 74, number 82, and a 2022 first round pick. So the Lions, in my opinion, should be in all-out rebuild mode. Their team's not ready to compete right now, so why not just accumulate more picks and get guys on rookie contracts, give yourself a better chance to draft better players. So Washington right now has Ryan Fitzpatrick, Taylor Heineke under contract, and yeah, I know Ryan Fitzpatrick's pretty good right now, but he's definitely not the future answer at 38 years old, 39, whatever he is. And Ron Rivera once coached, of course, Cam Newton in Carolina, and Cam Newton and Trey Lance kind of had similar builds coming out. I know that Cam Newton was a more highly regarded prospect because of what he did at Auburn, but at the same time, Trey Lance has a similar build. They're both very good runners with the football, similar arm strength, so I feel like that might be a good pick here, and Ron Rivera might be the guy. I feel like Trey Lance would be a perfect fit for the Patriots, but the Patriots are not really a team to trade up very often. I know they've been very aggressive this offseason, which is unpatriot-like, but based on the past history, I just don't see it happening. But once again, I could see the Patriots doing it, I could see Chicago doing it, but in this case, I have Washington trading up for quarterback Trey Lance. At number 8, I have the Panthers taking RASHAWN Slater, offensive tackle from Northwestern. So Sam Darnold's their quarterback for the near future. You would think the next 2 years. They picked up his 5th-year option already, so he should be there the next 2 years. You have the weapons in place, McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, but they kind of need a left tackle right now. I mean, Greg Little's their left tackle at the moment. They took him a couple years ago. Hasn't really worked out so far, so you could make an upgrade there. Move RASHAWN Slater to left tackle, and there you go. That should be your left tackle for the future, hopefully. They have Taylor Moton at the right side. He's been very good for them, especially last year, so they do need secondary help right now in Carolina, but that can come later. I think left tackle is the key for them, and I think RASHAWN Slater could be the pick here, 8th overall. At number 9, I have the Denver Broncos taking quarterback Mac Jones. So I don't know if I would make this pick personally, but once again, I'm trying to be accurate here. So if Mac Jones is on the board 9th overall, the Broncos don't have to trade up for him. I feel like they might take him here. I want to see Drew Lock in the same system for 2 years in a row with Pat Shermer to see how that would go, but I can definitely see the reasons for wanting to move off of Drew Lock. He's been inaccurate, making terrible decisions over and over again. So yeah, I could see why. Mac Jones coming off a very good 2020 for Alabama, and I feel like Mac Jones is definitely more accurate. He's more pro-ready when they both came into the league, so I could see that one happening for sure. And the Broncos offense has a ton of potential. I mean, Garrett Bowles finally played really well at left tackle, and they have a bunch of weapons now. Cortland Sutton coming back from the ACL, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Noah Fant, to name a few. So the Broncos offense could be something special. They need a quarterback, and if they think Mac Jones is the guy, then this can very well be the pick. At number 10, I have the Dallas Cowboys taking Patrick Surtain, the cornerback from Alabama. So the Cowboys defense in general was awful last year, especially at cornerback. Byron Jones leaves for the Dolphins, and they have a big hole there. So they really need some secondary help. They have guys like Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis as starters right now, so you don't want to see that. You get to reunite Surtain with a former teammate of his at Alabama, Trevon Diggs, who's entering year 2 now for Dallas, a former second-round pick. So Surtain, in my opinion, is the safest cornerback. He has consistent technique, 3 years of very good production at the SEC level, so you love seeing that. And I do like J.C. Horn a lot. I like Caleb Farley's talent, but I feel like he's the safest guy, Surtain. And once again, he played with Trevon Diggs. I feel like this makes sense. It's been mocked a lot, so I'll go with that one again. Patrick Surtain to the Dallas Cowboys. Number 11, I have the New York Giants taking Devontae Smith, wide receiver from Alabama. So we have 3 straight Bama players going. He would join Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Evan Engram, and Kyle Rudolph. So the Giants now finally have weapons for Daniel Jones, and that should be the Giants' biggest goal this year, is finding out if Daniel Jones is their guy. They do need some offensive line help. They could try to address it in the next couple rounds, but there have been not many rumors about the Giants, but they have been connected to Devontae Smith. So if he's available, I can see the Giants going in that direction. They definitely could use another wide receiver, whether it's on the slot or on the outside, and Devontae Smith has played in both, so I could see that being a possibility for the Giants. At number 12, I have the Philadelphia Eagles taking the cornerback JC Horn from South Carolina. So I was between Micah Parsons and JC Horn, but Howie Roseman, who is the GM for the Eagles, is very analytically driven. That whole team is very analytically driven, so they might value cornerbacks and secondary players over inside linebackers. So It's no fault of Micah Parsons, that's just the way it is, but Avonte Maddox right now is a starter at corner for them, which is not what you want to see. And if they made this pick, their secondary would be Darius Slay, who they got last year from Detroit, Rodney McLeod, Anthony Harris, who they just signed from the Vikings, and J.C. Horn. So that right there is a really good secondary in a division that now has Dak Prescott coming back, the Giants getting all these weapons, Washington potentially getting a quarterback in this scenario, but having Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel, guys like that, definitely helps to have a good secondary there in Philly. At number 13 overall, I have the Chargers taking Christian Darrisaw, the offensive tackle from Virginia Tech. You can't throw Justin Herbert out there with Trey Pipkins blocking his blind side. I mean, you could, but that's just an awful idea. Darrisaw has 3 years of experience at left tackle in the SEC. He has very strong hands, a strong upper body specifically. Got better every year, allowed no sacks last year according to PFF. So this would be a good move in my opinion. It definitely addresses an important position, and Darrisaw is a good player, especially at pass blocking. And the Chargers have done a good job with their offensive line this offseason, threw a lot of money at their center position. When Pouncey retired, they gave a lot of money to Corey Linsley. They brought in Matt Filer from the Steelers. So keep improving the offensive line. Try to avoid the sophomore slump from Justin Herbert. I think Darrisaw would be a good move here. At number 14 overall, I have the Vikings taking KWITY PAYE, the edge rusher from Michigan. So I wanted to give them Micah Parsons, but the fit made no sense. You don't really want Micah Parsons playing will or weak side, so when you have Kendricks and Barr already, I don't really see that making sense. So KWITY PAYE definitely fills in where Everson Griffin and Yannick Ngakoue once played across from Danielle Hunter, who hopefully comes back from the injury. So PAYE has shown improvements every year, is a very freaky athlete, and adds to this awesome front seven that the Vikings are building. They added Dalvin Tomlinson to get Michael Pierce back from COVID, and now they have Danielle Hunter coming back from injury as well. So if you add KWITY PAYE, that front seven in Minnesota could be very scary. At number 15, I have the Patriots taking Micah Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State. So if this pick actually happened, I could see Patriots fans jumping for joy for this one. I know Dante Hightower is back, but he's 31 years old now. But for the meantime, Micah Parsons could fill in right next to him and take Jawan Bentley's spot in the starting lineup, which would definitely be an upgrade. So Parsons did not play in 2020, but looked as dominant as can be in 2019. He's 6'3", 246, has grown man strength. He ran a 4.39 40. Should be a tremendous player, and I like the scheme fit here going to the Patriots. At number 16 overall, I had the Arizona Cardinals taking Jalen Waddle, the wide receiver from Alabama. So the Cardinals have had a fun offseason so far. They added J.J. Watt, AJ Green, Malcolm Butler, Rodney Hudson, Matt Prater, and even more. They tried to make it work in the slot with Andy Isabella. They drafted him a couple years ago. He had that one nice play against the Niners on Thursday Night Football a couple years back, but has not been consistent and not in the lineup that much. So Waddle makes this dangerous offense even more dangerous if Kyler Murray can stay healthy. And Waddle can do just about everything. I love his explosiveness. I love his elusiveness as well. And Larry Fitzgerald's snap counts have been declining. I think last year played somewhere in the 60% for offensive snaps. So Larry Fitzgerald might not even be back next year. We'll see if he retires or not. But the slot should be open right now for the Cardinals. It looks like they want to add a wide receiver based on reports, and if Jalen Waddle fell here to 16, that can definitely be the pick. At number 17, I have the Raiders taking Trayvon Merrick, the safety from TCU. So the Raiders defense needs a lot of help, especially in the secondary. They tried it with Damon Arnett last year, has not panned out so far. Jeff Heath at safety is average at best. He's a bit up there in age. And Jonathan Abram, the experiment at deep safety, kind of needs to end at some point. He's probably more of a box safety type of guy. So the Raiders' new defensive coordinator, Gus Bradley, is best known for his cover 3 defense. And Merrick playing in the middle of that defense definitely fits his skill set with his ball skills and his hard hits. It seems like a nice fit. And maybe this is a bit early of a pick, but the Raiders have definitely surprised us a lot with their first round picks during the Gruden and Mayock era. At number 18, I have the Dolphins taking Elijah VERA-TUCKER, the guard from USC. So I had them taking Jamar Chase at 6 and now some offensive line help. In 2020's draft, the Dolphins tried to improve their offensive line. They took Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, Solomon Kinley. This season from Miami should be trying to find out if Tua Tagovailoa is their guy at quarterback, and getting him a good offensive line should definitely help with that. They got the weapons now, of course, especially adding Jamar Chase. They have Eric Flowers, they have Solomon Kinley at guard right now, but you'd have to think that VERA-TUCKER is probably better than both of them, so this would be an upgrade. And VERA-TUCKER is consistent, he's very good on his feet, has experience at left tackle as well, so there is some versatility. I think he's going to be a very solid pro, so VERA-TUCKER would be a nice pick here for Miami. At number 19, we have the Detroit Lions now picking due to the trade back with Washington. I have them taking Christian Barmore, the defensive lineman, pretty much a defensive tackle from Alabama. So this is the first actual pick of the Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes era. This is a good value pick. It's a safe pick. I expect Barmore to be a solid pro at the least. Barmore is the best interior defensive lineman in this class by a good amount. It's not the best defensive tackle class, but Barmore is the one guy that stands out here. The Lions did lose Danny Shelton, the defensive tackle, this past offseason, so they could replace him, of course. course. Now, Barmore has great hands. He can develop even more as a pass rusher, which is exciting, and he played very well against some great competition for Alabama. So I think this is a good pick. It's safe. I could see this being the pick if Detroit was a trade down. At number 20, I have the Chicago Bears taking TEVEN Jenkins, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma State. So they'll probably try to trade up for a quarterback, but will they mortgage their future for the quarterback 4 or 5 of this class? I don't know how the Bears feel about Mac Jones or even Trey Lance or Kellen Mond, Davis Mills. I don't know how they feel about those guys, so I don't know if they'll trade up for them. But if Andy Dalton is their guy, and based on the quotes, it seems like he is going to be the guy, they definitely need more protection. Their current right tackle is Jermaine Ifedi, so that definitely can use an upgrade right there. Jenkins has some minor flaws, but overall he's a very powerful guy, has really good hands, he plays nasty. He would definitely be a fan favorite out there and plays with some good balance. So he's not the most flawless prospect, but definitely has a lot of upside, and the Bears definitely haven't needed that right tackle position, so I could see this being the pick. At number 21, I have the Indianapolis Colts taking Sam Cosmi, the offensive tackle from Texas. So Anthony Costanzo, their left tackle of the past, has retired, and it's hard not to like Cosmi. He's a great athlete for an offensive tackle. He's 6'6", 314, gets out in space. For a team that likes to run the ball like the Colts, that would be a good fit. Definitely does well in the run game. Has experience at both tackle spots and has been very durable over his career. There are some technique issues, but with good coaching, he should be able to fix that. Once again, he's a tremendous athlete, so that should be fixable. But Cosmi, it might be a slight reach, but I could see a team liking him early, so I think the Colts might be that team with a needed left tackle. At number 22, I have the Titans taking Elijah Moore, the wide receiver from Ole Miss. So Corey Davis went to the Jets, Adam Humphries went to Washington, so there is a wide receiver vacancy, or a couple spots actually, for the Titans. But Moore is a great yards after catch guy, along with A.J. Brown, who's definitely top 5, maybe top 3 in the league right now at that category. But they also have Derrick Henry, who's great after contact. That would be so many great players with the ball in their hands on that team. Very exciting for Titans fans. Moore is very tough over the middle, makes all the tough catches routinely. Some of the best hands in this class, lowest drop rate basically, or one of the lowest drop rates in this class. Moore would be an awesome pick and an awesome fit in my opinion for the Titans at 22. At number 23, we have the Jets again. This is acquired from Seattle from the Jamal Adams trade last year. I had the Jets taking Jeremiah OWUSU-KORAMOAH, the linebacker from Notre Dame. Their first pick, of course, was Zach Wilson, so I can definitely see Robert Saleh falling in love with this guy and wanting to get his hands on him. Saleh coached Fred Warner in San Francisco. Warner's pretty undersized, not the biggest guy. He's like 229, 230. OWUSU-KORAMOAH is definitely one of the smallest linebackers you'll see, but he is so versatile and definitely can play some slot corner if you need him to. He can cover running backs, tight ends, wide receivers. He played over 300 snaps in each of the past 2 seasons at slot corner for Notre Dame. So he's definitely undersized, but makes up for it with the versatility. You can use him in creative ways. He has really good speed, very good athlete. I think this would be a nice pick for the Jets, and I could see Robert Saleh falling in love with a guy like this. At number 24, I have the Steelers taking Dylan Radins, the offensive tackle from North Dakota State. So Alejandro Villanueva is still a free agent. The Steelers probably can't afford him, and you got to give Ben a decent left tackle. At least he's not the most mobile quarterback, as we know. And Radins is a really good athlete and really good in space. He allowed 0 sacks on over 900 snaps in 2019. Also mauls guys in the run game. He's personally one of my favorite offensive tackles, aside from Sewell and Slater, of course, but he may need to get stronger, but the Steelers can definitely develop him and try to make him their future left tackle. At number 25, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. This pick was supposed to be the Rams, but it's from the Jalen Ramsey trade. So I have them taking Caleb Farley, the cornerback from Virginia Tech. So it's definitely easier to take Farley when you have 2 first-round picks. This, of course, would be the Jaguars' second pick of this draft. Of course, taking Trevor Lawrence first overall, but with the injury history that he possesses with the ACL and, of course, the back injuries, the back spasms, the recent back surgery, it's definitely risky to take him, but he has a solid build to be a cornerback 1, has some of the most impressive speed and recovery speed you'll see in this draft for a cornerback, and makes some very impressive plays on the ball, has the ball skills you want for a corner, and the cornerback room would look very good for Jacksonville. They just signed Shaquille Griffin from the Seahawks, of course CJ Henderson, last year's first round pick in the top 10, and now Caleb Farley. A very talented group of corners right there, a lot of upside. I would like to see that, so if Farley falls to 25, I could see that happening for Jacksonville. At number 26, I have the Cleveland Browns taking Greg Newsome, the cornerback from Northwestern. So Andrew Berry, the Browns GM, definitely embraces analytics more than just about anybody. They believe in building through their secondary. They just signed Jadeveon Clowney. I know they let go of Sheldon Richardson, but in 2020, Newsome allowed 0 touchdowns and had a 31 passer rating when targeted last year, so he was phenomenal for Northwestern. He won't give you much help in the run game probably, but if you need him to lock up a wide receiver 2 on the outside, then he's a very good pick. You already have Denzel Ward to lock up the wide receiver 1s. You still have Greedy Williams, and it seems like the Browns want to build through their secondary. They just signed John Johnson to a nice contract, the former Rams safety. They traded for Ronnie Harrison from the Jaguars last year. This team wants to improve the secondary. Their second cornerback spot's a bit iffy right now. I could see Greg Newsome being the pick here for Cleveland. At number 27, I have the Baltimore Ravens taking AZEEZ OJULARI, the edge player from Georgia. They lost Matthew Judon to the Patriots. They lost Yannick Ngakoue to the Raiders. They definitely need some edge help right now. They have Tyus Bowser and some other unproven guys right now starting for them. So last year they traded for Yannick Ngakoue, and funny enough, the most common NFL comparison I see for OJULARI is Yannick Ngakoue. So if the Ravens wanted to trade for a guy like him last year, why wouldn't they take a guy like OJULARI in this class? I mean, maybe that's too much of a simple thinking process by me, but still I could see it happening if OJULARI is on the board. I feel like OJULARI is one of the most NFL ready edge guys in this class right now. Has incredible bend, explosiveness, just gets to the quarterback just about as well as anybody. So I could see this being the pick if OJULARI was still on the board at 27 overall. At number 28, I have the New Orleans Saints taking Rashod Bateman, the wide receiver from Minnesota. I feel like Saints fans would love if this happened. I don't know if Bateman will fall this far. That's just the way I had it going. So no more starting Traquan Smith on the outside, which is very good news for the Saints. Michael Thomas spent most of 2020 injured, so you need another go-to guy in case that happens again. Emmanuel Sanders went to Buffalo, of course. Bateman's very good at getting off the line. He's tough to bring down after the catch, a very good route runner as well. You need to help your next quarterback, whether it's Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill. I have no idea who it is. We'll find out. Probably Jameis Winston, but still, getting Bateman at 28 is great value. He should be a good NFL receiver, especially to start him out as a wide receiver 2 for New Orleans. At number 29, I have the Green Bay Packers taking a wide receiver, which is probably silly of me because they never want to do that, but Terrace Marshall Jr., wide receiver from LSU. So it sucks to miss out on Rashod Bateman by 1 pick, but Terrace Marshall is a good consolation prize. The Packers have been needing a wide receiver for a while now, the past couple years at least. They can't keep relying on Allen Lazard and Marquez Valdes-Scantling to be their second wide receiver option. Marshall's a gifted athlete, 6'3", 205, has room to get better. He's still very young. And I'm not saying he will be Justin Jefferson 2.0, but he played his role for LSU in 2020, looked very good in doing so, and I feel like a lot of other NFL teams wish they took Jefferson higher. Maybe looking back on a year, some teams wish they took Terrace Marshall higher. We'll see if that happens, but this would be a nice fit for Aaron Rodgers. Put him next to Devontae Adams, give him another actual wide receiver that's reliable for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense. At number 30, we have the Buffalo Bills taking Jalen Phillips, the edge player from Miami, formerly UCLA until he transferred, but Phillips has top 10 type talent. It's just unfortunate that he had a bunch of injuries during his college football career. It will make some teams hesitate for sure, but Buffalo needs someone opposite of Jerry Hughes, who looked very good in the playoffs last year, but Buffalo could not get a consistent pass rush last year, during the playoffs especially. So Phillips has very strong hands. He plays through contact very well. Already a decent amount of pass rushing moves. I feel like Phillips, once again, from a talent standpoint, is a very good player, but the fact that he retired once from football is definitely something that'll scare some teams off. But at 30 overall, this pick and the value would make too much sense for the Bills, so I could see them making it if he fell this far. At number 31, I have the Kansas City Chiefs taking Walker Little, the offensive tackle from Stanford. So Walker Little is another guy who has an injury history and some concerns. He basically missed all of 2019 with a knee injury, did not play in 2020 at all due to the COVID opt-out. So Little was a 5-star recruit out of high school. He was once mocked to be a top 10 pick, even top 5 pick in some cases, but he basically has not played since 2018, which makes him tough to evaluate. It's tough to invest a high pick in a guy who has not played in that long, but Little's definitely not a little guy. He's 6'8", 313. He has a very strong base. He mirrors pass rushers very well and pass protection. So Eric Fisher, Mitchell Schwartz were both cut by KC. They definitely need some offensive line help. They did sign Joe Thuney, but they definitely need some more help at tackle specifically. I could see Little being the pick here at 31 for the Chiefs. At number 32, the final pick of the first round, I have the Buccaneers taking Landon Dickerson, the guard from Alabama. So the Bucs don't really have any needs right now. You could argue running back, but I just don't want to see them doing that. I mean, last year we saw the Chiefs do that. It was a luxury pick, and then the Chiefs had a bunch of offensive line injuries. They had some cornerback injuries. Better to build a depth, in my opinion, than take a running back this early, but having some offensive line insurance is definitely more important when you have a quarterback like Tom Brady. Dickerson can play anywhere on the interior. He has some slight experience at left tackle and right tackle, so he won't play tackle much, but if you need him to, I guess he can in a pinch, but he has some reps of throwing guys on the ground. He looks like a stud out there. The downside is he's coming off an ACL injury late in the season from December, but the Bucks do have the luxury of not needing him right away. They do have some time here, so they might not need him until maybe halfway through the season. So I think Dickerson would be a nice pick, a nice stash for them. Maybe won't play until 2022 if everyone's healthy, but it can't hurt to make this pick, and having offensive line depth is definitely not a bad move. So that'll do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Leave in the comments your favorite picks I had, some of the least favorite picks I had, some of the craziest ones I had, but hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you want more mock drafts next year, I could do that for you guys. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I know a lot of people love mock draft videos, and I do like putting them together. It is pretty fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you guys next time.